Hello everybody, what's going on? Guess what today is? Today, that comes off. Stay tuned. What do we think, guys? Here it is. Project Fat Man. Affectionately known as the budget Overland Raptor. But anyway, what we're doing is kind of getting prepared for the upcoming trip, and then of course these new mods that we're doing, but I kind of have to do them in stages because I'm only here sometimes during the month because we work down south predominantly, but at the same time I've only got a few days of the weekends to do things, and so this is what I do. That being said, this guy right here has come a long way. See this little overspray on this paint where they painted the topper on it. That makes me mad. So I gotta fix that. Another thing is removing it. Now I notice that there's no seals around the whole bed. We'll need to fix that when we go back with the topper. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and sand, paint, prime, and get the topper ready to go back on. At the same time, I'm gonna build a small rack system on top. All it's gonna do is house a PVC water system made of 4-inch pipe and 200-watt solar panels that'll feed the battery system in the bed of the truck. Once I do that, it'll go back on here. At the same time, I'm gonna build out the back of this truck at the same time. I'm gonna build my bed platform and kind of the modular shelving system and camping system that I'm gonna run in this camper and or in the future if I change the campers. So I'm gonna build it once and I'm gonna build it to fit all. So that's what we wanna do. Anyway, I think we'll get moving. Judging by this camera view, I guess you know what time it is. Let's build a truck, camper, bed, slide, bed, truck bed, / living area camper system. Stay tuned. Okay guys, this is about the simplest way I figured I could film this for you. But essentially what I did is I mocked up the actual platform system and how it'll be. Even with the widths of the verticals, it'll act as the foundation for the platform, bed platform and such. Anyway, so basically you can kind of see this center area is a walkway, okay? And I wanted to leave enough room in here that way when I had the bed deployed, I could still put my feet down at this end and set up in the actual camper and be able to kind of, you know, put on my shoes and brush my teeth and such. So anyway, this is an open walkway area here. This area right here is a giant storage room, storage drawer, and you can see it'll come across from here to here, and it'll actually be a little wider to the front, and then it'll kiss back in just right up here. But the distance from here to here is 25.5 inches. So that's an incredibly wide, large drawer. Now, the overall height on this side where the bed side is will be at 9 inches to the flat side where the sleeping pad will go on. So it essentially is a 25 by 52.5, I think, 52.5 length by 9 drawer. So a pretty substantial drawer. Moving on right here, here's gonna be my fridge slide. And the reason why I want it here is because I want it accessible in the camper and out. So it'll be on a slide and be able to come out here if I'm cooking outside, but if I'm inside, I'll be able to open it from this side and get to it. In this cabinet area here, so what I'll do is it'll house a sink, a standard hand crank sink like you'd see like in the older RVs. And then my stove will actually slide in here and it'll have room for storage for the actual small propane green bottles and stuff like that. Front corner will be the water jug solution for this sink. In the center is where I'm gonna run my batteries. I'm gonna do 3 AGM 100 amp hour batteries to start out with a 2000 watt sine inverter from Renogy. Like I said before, the Renogy will be also the solar controller as well. So it'll handle the MPPT solar charging along with the DC to DC charging of the batteries as well. So that'll be nice. It'll all be encompassed. But they'll be below here in this battery box here. And in this front corner box over here is just another general storage bin. Now what I am going to do is I'm going to section every one of these pieces and put them on hinges. That way when you're inside, you can individually open these to do what you need to do. This drawer system here as well will be separated as well. I'll put a divider in here where I'll have two totes that come right here. They're 16 by 16. And wherever they end, I'm gonna have a divider. That way, I can open this drawer here individually if I'm sitting on top of it to get to my dry storage and stuff for, you know, cooking spices, cooking utensils, all those things. Plus just random other things, my med kit and stuff like that. So I hope this makes sense. Because again, eventually I'm trying to build something that's adaptable enough to when I go for a single camper solution, meaning I'm looking at the Alu Cab and the Vagabond and a couple other ones. And I think that this system right here would integrate directly into one of those same as well. So you would have your upper platform area, and then down here below, you would have the ability to hang out, kind of relax, cook, brush your teeth, all within the confines of the camper instead of having to be out in case it's, you know, poor weather and stuff like that. And I know here shortly we're going to be in Yellowstone. We'll be in the, you know, high mountains of Utah and Idaho. So more bears in that area just makes things safer. So anyway, I hope you can see it like I can. But let's get to moving. So, maybe now it makes a little sense. Sorry, I took a break to have some snacks. It's been like 104, 102 every day in my shop. I don't have air conditioning, so not to be bothered by the transient people, I have to keep the door shut, so it's pretty miserable in here. That's why the fans everywhere. But anyway, I'm having a snack. These are my favorite candies, little fruit snacks. Now, does it make sense? So, right now, the refrigerator is just on 2x4s, but it's mimicking the slide that it'll be on. And I wanted it there because I'll probably cook on this side, and I'll be able to slide that in and out. The neat thing about it is it's made that I can open it from inside the camper when I'm in the camper. Again, if it's raining or snowing or inclement weather. But it'll be permanently on its slide, and then right next to it is going to be the counter that I'll call like the cook and sink counter. So I'm going to have it in that, on top of that, I'll have one of those standard pump sinks, and then a small area where I can use a single burner stove that I'll house inside that cabinet itself. The back corner over there that you see is where the water, my 5-gallon water tank will sit, and I'll just fill that up before I go on trips, because all I'm going to use that for internally is brush my teeth, washing my face when I wake up, those kind of things. And then as we move left, the center cubby is where my 300 amp hour AGM batteries are going to go, and then to the left of that's going to be storage. And then again, this right here is our main drawer area. So this whole drawer will slide out. And again, in the beginning, it's a little wider. I want to say it's like 27 across, or 25 and a half across here, and it'll be 25 and a half all the way back to 26 inches, and then it slims back and goes into that area. But that's a significantly huge drawer to be able to use. And then of course here, we still have our walkway area. Now, like you've seen in a bunch of builds, I'm gonna have a replacement shelf that'll go in here for when I'm sleeping, because I'm not a huge guy, I'm only 5'9", but this is only 5'5" from front to back, so I'm gonna have to sleep at a somewhat of an angle. So that's what I'll have to do to accomplish to be able to stretch out fully. But I think you guys can see it kind of coming together now, and maybe it makes a little bit more sense to you guys. I'm not a carpenter. I'm just doing the best I can and being as precise as I can. I am using a Craig joint mount to create all these holes. And I'll tell you, this is the first time I ever used it. It's better than going end to end with screws and even glue. This is more solid than that is, and I haven't even glued it yet. So let's keep bumping along. If you guys have any questions during the sections, you know, make sure that you guys ask them, and I'll go back. I comment on everything that everybody asks. So I'll go back and tell you what my thinking was, or give you measurements and why I was doing it this way. And just so you do know, the reason why I put the main drawer over here, yes, the gas tank's here, but on this side, I'll have the fridge, and I also have the 37 hanging off the back corner. So I wanted to kind of oppose that weight. So that's kind of the way we're loading it now. And then the batteries, their weight will be centrally located. And then of course, water is gonna be in that front corner as well. And you know, you can do the math. I think water's about 8 pounds a gallon, and there'll be 5 gallons in there. So that's just an additional amount of weight that we're gonna be adding. So anyway, that's my idea. Let's keep rolling. Okay, so this is where I'm at tonight, and I am just exhausted. So I'm going to quit for the evening. I'm literally just worn out. But I think we're starting to get a really good, sorry, this thing's getting big. We just did a bead lock some 37s on it, and it's pretty big now. We added another 3 inches, is what the measuring tape says. But anyway, it's coming out super good. I think you guys can kind of see what I'm going with. And basically, none of this is my innovation. It's basically just a culmination of things that I've watched on YouTube and learned from other people that were super talented and probably more talented than I am in carpentry and design. And so I just kind of manipulated it to something what I felt like was a really cool camper bed platform. And so I wanted it to be, you know, incredibly functional, and so I think this is gonna be it. Like the refrigerator on the end for sliding out and in. That way, again, when we're cooking outside, I can still access the fridge from outside and don't have to climb in and out. And it's not in the front of the truck. I don't have to walk back and forth to the front of the truck. Things like that are very important. Putting my power back here. That way I can land my inverter here, my solar controller here, and the solar on the camper, and everything's back here where this is where it's going to be functioning, right? So it's not going to operate anything inside the vehicle, so there's no point in it being back there. Everything needs to be back here. Albeit, I did spring for the Bluetooth controller, so I can at least see what's going on via Bluetooth without having to look in here and look at the actual LCD screen. But things like that. And so if you see, that's a huge utility drawer. It gives us a lot of space for storage. And again, this kind of camping and living and overlanding is kind of about being minimalistic, but at the same time, utilizing every piece of space you have. Well, I kind of feel like we've knocked it out, because not only do we have this storage under here for all kinds of cooking stuff and utility stuff, but I'll also be able to have a full functioning sink up here, and I'll also be able to cook up here. And at the same time, I'll have an additional space right here for food prep, along with the top of this refrigerator. This will be hinged so that when I'm gonna fill up this water jug that you can see in the bottom of that, that's one of those blue water jugs that you see everywhere. And guys, if you don't know and don't have a water solution, and 5 gallons gets you a good ways, I just use this for brushing my teeth, washing my face, those kind of things. That 5 gallons lasts a really long time on the trail, because I use other water for actual drinking water, so I don't use that for that, unless I'm just in the camper and just want to make a quick glass of water. But that'll be housed in there. This will swing open, you can pull it out in there, fill it up, put it back in here, swing it back down, ratchet it down. And then again, it'll function as a sink, the stove here. In that area, you've got the main drawer for storage, and in that back front left corner will be a cubby. And basically what I'll keep into that is probably extra winter clothes is what I'm assuming. Maybe a couple extra jackets, my thermal blanket, stuff like that, that you don't know that you'll need it, but it's nice to have it stashed away if you ever do. So anyway, I'm gonna kill it for the day. I'm worn out, my back is smoked. I finished the dual swing today. The last locking pin came in, so I welded it on and built a tab to open it at different locations on the bumper. Got that done, and it's paint drying, and so I've had enough. I've been at it. I haven't had a day off in I don't know how long. I've literally been working Monday through Sunday every week for probably at least the last 4 weeks in preparation of getting rid of the Gladiator, and then the last 2 weeks on this guy, and we'll do it next week as well. So that being said, we'll pick it up another day. Thanks for watching. Okay guys, here it is. It's complete. Now, the one unfortunate thing is I forgot to do the final, and I didn't realize that before we went on the trip. So I just got back, but I've got it all together in the form factor that I built, and I really enjoyed it. So you can see that this is on the slide, and it really works well. And the reason why I built it is because I basically went through all of YouTube and looked at all the truck builds because I didn't have any experience with one, and tried to figure out how I wanted to build it in a means that would work for me, both as a camper, shell camper, and being able to work outside of it. So as you can see from its setup, I've got a big main drawer, I've got a walkway for storage, then I've got the fridge on the slide, and then a small kitchen. And the reason why I say a small kitchen is because the reason why I thought the importance of the camper shell was to keep me out of the elements if something was going on. But if I had to get out every time and access this drawer, it didn't really benefit me in that manner. Now I could have done entries to the top of the drawer this way, but my thinking was, if I'm in there, I've basically got a pad laid out and some blankets, and I'm in a seating position, so therefore it wouldn't behoove me to move all that stuff and get in those drawers. So what I wanted is a separate area, so that if it was inclement weather or anything like that, I could easily get to the stuff in the kitchen area without having to get in this area. And yes, I do carry 2 separate kitchen cooking capabilities. 3 technically. I carry a skittle, I carry a single 1-burner gas 1 stove that does butane or propane, and then in here I've got my full-size dual burner Coleman. So again, if I'm outside in this situation, I pull the drawer, and from there I can get into those stuff, that main camping cooking solution, and then extra bowls and dishes. Well, in there I have the gas one, I have plates and knives and forks. I've also got coffee in there. I've got food to make with dry, with just boiling water. And then I've got multiple cooking solutions in there as well. So this is my take on it. I hope it works well. From what I can see, it has so far. And I'll kind of show you guys what's going on. Let me move the camera as such. So from here, you can see the 12-volt panel that houses the fan, and then of course your cell phone. Here's another panel that's got the standard cigarette lighter. All you have to do is pull the drawer, and right here you've got your stove, pots, pans, cleaning, cooking, everything that you normally would. Now this pulls all the way out, so you can get more access to it. This right now, it's a mess because I just got back, so it slides really easy. I wanted to maximize the drawer space, so I didn't add space in for the rollers, because it literally did create an extra 1.5 inches on sides to be able to have more room area space. So that was important. Let's see, I guess kind of what I'll do is I'll move it this way just a hair and get up in here. So it's pretty easy to get in. I can get in just like this. Now when I'm in here, the reason of the height of this bed was so that I could almost set straight up, and I can. Reason being, on this last trip, we were in some cold environments, rainy environments, and I was able to, every morning with this sink, it's on an electric pump, I was able to make coffee in here on my single gas 1-burner, because I can just take it out from here, and it sits right here. Access to the refrigerator, I can cook food, make coffee, all that stuff from in here at the same time. It goes back in the stoves. I can brush my teeth. I have a prep space if I'm cooking in here. It ended up working out really good. Right here is my inverter setup with my Renogy. This is all Renogy. This is a 2,000 watt sine wave inverter from Renogy. This right here is a Renogy DC to DC charger plus MPPT for my solar on the roof. I have two solar panels, 200 watt solar panels, and then right below this panel right here that you can see is 3 100 amp AGM batteries. That powers the system. That being said, I've got Bluetooth lights in here that I can change with. I will add a rope light system in here to add more ambient overhead light, which would help. But in here, like I said, it houses my kitchen, and I've got Ziploc bags, ketchup, cooking utensils, towels, a first aid kit, different kinds of gas. I carry this gas in here for the skittle type burner or a jet boil type burner, and then I carry green can gas for the standard stove. So I've got all that. In here I also have an electric heater that I can set up here at night. It runs on a timer, or you can just run it manually. I ran it on a timer. I just set it for 8 hours and then told it I wanted it to be at least 55 degrees in here. And so when it would drop about 10 degrees below that, it would come back on and warm the entire camper, but not run all night. So therefore it really didn't dramatically drain the battery. So with the 3 100 amp hour batteries, running my CPAP and running that heater, only 2 nights that I did it, but it was both, it used about 20% of the battery life. Now, this DC to DC charger is hooked up to the truck alternator. So obviously when you key the truck on, it comes on and starts putting DC to DC charge into these batteries, as well as using the solar when I'm out in the sun. The irony of it is, right now it's not much, and I can check my phone, but these panels are receiving some solar from the LEDs in here, which is funny, but it's happening. What I did to extend the bed space, and I can set this up inside. So when I get inside, I have this board that I take and I simply set up like this. And so now you can see my bed area is like this. And so how I sleep is just like this. And I'm 5'9", and I can fit in this bed, and this bed is 5'5". So it's actually really comfortable. I cut and formed a 3-inch memory style foam mattress, and it's worked really well. It really has. The one manipulation I will change after I did it is I probably will have another bed fold out here so that I can have the entire area for a bed. I don't know what you can see or if I'm in the way, but I just leave this bedding in here. And right here is another drawer. And what I used this on a trip for was my dirty clothes. I just put all my dirty clothes in there. Every morning when I change, I just lean up the pillows and put them in place there, and then cover them up. And I never had to smell them and never had to deal with them. But anyway, this is not a full walkthrough. It's just a quick ending to the build video. This is what I came up with. This is 3 sheets of 4x8, 3/4 inch plywood is what this was all built with. And I think it came out phenomenal. And you're gonna ask what feeds that. I use a 5-gallon jerry can that fits underneath the Renogy inverter. And then it's just got a tube that runs to its electric. I guess I'll show you that real quick. It's got a tube inside that runs to the pump. So it just slides right in here like this. And then I hook it up the hose, run the hose into it, seal it, and then it works. And I'll tell you this, on a 9-day trip, I used it twice a day for brushing my teeth and almost every morning for making coffee. And when I got back, I still had about 2 gallons left. So it's really efficient. But anyway, I hope all of this makes sense. And again, I'm not a pro truck camper. I'm not a pro van lifer. I just used all the ideas that I saw on the internet and kind of made it my own, and it really worked well. I sat in rain for about 6.5 hours. I was able to crack the windows, run the fan, and it was wonderfully temperatured in there. Didn't get too muggy, didn't get too hot, and it really was nice to just kind of sit back in there and relax out of the rain, out of the wet. And then when it was time to leave, all I did was shut the windows, climb out, close this, close the two, shut the top, and got in the truck and left. That was my complete setup. And so I'm very happy with it. Anyway, I hope you liked it, because again, this was my idea of what I thought would work. Well, I guess I'll close it out there. One of these days, if you guys want, let me know, comment below. Like, I didn't go over the DZ tailgate, drop system and stuff like that, but that all made a huge difference at night at camp, and not wanting to wake all the guys up, or in the morning. I got up super early, and I could just open the hatch and then let the tailgate down and just ease down super quiet. But that kind of covers it. Again, not a pro. This is how I thought it would work for me, and long-term how it would work, how you could live out of it without having to always open the back and get into things. So anyway, if you liked it, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more of it, please subscribe. And if you want to support us, take us out on patreon.com/MaximumOverland. Until next time, guys. See ya.